All right, peace, peace, peace. What up? First and foremost, man, hopefully the most high in your house, y'all, is blessing your day. As mercy to our consume, well, the most high in your house has body and two and naturally a lot, man. Because you know what? Today's perfect. It's kind of going to trickle off into, like, what we talked about yesterday as far as self-examination. And also, too, like, shout out to Brother Simi first for pointing the scripture out. And also, too, because today's it's perfect. It's perfect today because today's the 23rd. So we're gonna get into this, man, about how, like, self-examination, also too the power of the Most High House, and like the power of the word, honestly. Because you know what, because even, like, remember, like, but hence the book of Eli, the book of my power, right? How people can, that's really iniquity when it's the word is perverted for one's own group of a person or a party or a group of people or parties or whatever own gain, honestly. So but usually, like, that's really like somebody uses it to their own gain. But honestly, we gonna get into this because sometimes, like, it's not the word itself, but this word is so powerful, man. It can make, like, you could even be like kind of worse than like, than before, man. That's why, like, that self-examination and, like, it's constantly is constantly even is needed, man. And also too the right, like, the teaching and stuff like that you're receiving, or like, like, that's why the gospel of witness and testimony is so important in the preaching of the gospel, so people's faith can be increased, honestly, in new covenant things of that nature. Because really, what I mean by that is not saying like the word can be, no, I'm just saying, like, pretty much what Yahushua said, they come twofold in the a child of hell. Because, like, and that was what was the Pharisees doing. One, they were doing all three: sin, iniquity, and transgression. But they were pretty much iniquity, perverting the word for their own gain, and, like, making people worse, honestly, because, like, the stuff that they were doing, honestly. So, and then, honestly too, don't get it twisted, because that Romans 8, because two things can be true. You, like we always say, you can walk in true gum, because at the same time, because yeah, as like that Romans 8, 30, 35 and on down, like, nothing should separate us from the love from the Most High Yahushua. That's true, but also as well, like, but at the same time, like, that's why we talk about our conduct on here, man, because our conduct, how we live, man, especially for brothers and sisters that came in the word, came in the faith, honestly, from coming from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, that can affect their faith, honestly, like, and or they could become starting to act like how you act and thinking that's okay. And one, if we're not acting righteously, if we're acting wickedly, and, like, and contrary to most on your house, honestly. So yeah, man, because I mentioned this before, like, a sister, like, I was talking to, like, last year or whatever. She was Muslim at one time in her life, and she took it very seriously. But really, one of the reasons, why at the end of the day why she left, because she didn't want to do it, and she didn't want to do it anymore. And it was home, like, she was very self-willed. She just wanted to do what she wanted to do at the end of the day, because that's what most people, they just want to do what they want to do. Honestly, that's what that Jew goes into, like, people despise me and things of that nature. But also too, that was one thing. But also too, she said listen, I'll go to classes and be very serious about it, but people around her, like, people, especially here in Philly, Muslims, because really Islam, or like, Muslim, like, other than New York, this is really capital for Muslim, for Islam, for our people here, honestly, in this country. On this, I would say, like, on this western side, it's really capital for our people. But because most of y'all brothers and sisters know that, well, majority, and I'm not gonna say all, because there's some, at least a small percent of brothers and sisters, Jake, and that's in Islam, that take it seriously here in Philly. But it's really not. A lot of them don't take it seriously at all. So yeah, so that's is what it is too. So that's the thing too. She said people smoking, drinking, and she said, "Yo, we can't be doing stuff like this." And she said that was the reason that led away to her, not doing that anymore. But, like, that was another reason. That was, like, that was one of the ingredients. But that's just is what it is there. But I'm saying this to say that our how our what you call them, how we conduct ourselves, it can hinder other people's, like, faith, can impact that. Not saying that's the ultimate reason for somebody would fall off or something like that, because at the end of the day, it's something that they wanted to do, or hey, but it is what it is. But it's like also too, like, the brother from somebody first one said, man, because a lot of times too, that's how people that's conducting themselves with the word, and how what they're how they're living, and like, what they're teaching, what they're saying, like, with the word. That's why people have issues with the scriptures, honestly, because the scriptures in itself, nothing wrong with the scriptures itself. It's more of they'll blame the Most High Yahushua for it. But see, that's why it's in the law not to profane the Most High Yahushua's name, or like that's why our conduct, man, honestly. But let's just grab this to Jeremiah, because we're gonna see an instance of an example, like let's get this Jeremiah, because this is where we're gonna get this real quick. This is where the reason a place where like what Yahushua said about becoming twofold. Because Jeremiah 23 is very similar, pretty much the same thing as Matthew 23, man. So and that goes back into like why they thought Yahushua was like another reason why they thought Yahushua was Jeremiah, one other, because what was Jeremiah doing? He was like going to kings and like rulers and the teachers and the scribes directly, just like Yahushua was. That's another reason why. Also too, Jeremiah didn't have a wife or children, so that's another reason why. It's not that it's the whole reincarnation thing, doctrine of the prophets reincarnated, or they just had, like, a lot of times when it says that, they just had the same spirit, honestly, like Elijah and John the Baptist, they had the same spirit, honestly. That's just is what it is. It's not that they were them reincarnated, or and we're not going into that though. But let's grab this Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 14. It says, I have also seen the prophets of Jerusalem, and horrible thing. They commit adultery, walk in lies. They strengthened also the hands of evildoers, that none return from his wickedness. Yep, they are all of them unto me as Sodom and the inhabitants of Gomorrah. So yeah, exactly, man. That's why a lot of wickedness. Like it's crazy, because I was watching some online the other day, some pictures that came up on I got to watch a movie again. New Jersey Drive came out 30 years ago, but I remember watching a Redman interview and saying, like, I think we talked about this before, how like and he said, man, that's what, and stuff like that in Jersey, things of that nature, that's what we kind of known for. We was known for, like, stealing cars, things of that nature. But he said, listen, we did a lot more than that. It's similar to like the same dynamic as Sodom and Gomorrah, man, because it was more than homosexuality and men playing people playing pin and tail on the donkey in there, man. People doing all this type of cold madness and things of that nature there. It was more than just that. Like, Brokeback Mountain going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was way more than that, honestly. It was iniquity, perversion. It was unjust dealings. Ezekiel 16 kind of goes into that. But yeah, man, let's grab this too, because this is later talking about like Yahushua, same. It's all the same thing, man. Like, we always say the scriptures, that same motif, recurrent thing. Like, same same game, just different players, whether it's righteously or wickedly, man. Because that enmity between the Most High Yahushua seed and the serpent seed is always going to be there. That light versus darkness is always going to be there. Like the Wire said, man. Like Avon Barksdale said in the Wire, he said, listen, man, this comes with the game. There's always going to be another Marlowe. There's always going to be the Pharisees or the serpent seeds. It's always going to be until the Most High Yahushua decides to end this thing, like till it's fulfilled. But yeah, man, because it's nothing new. But anyway, Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 14, it says, I have also seen the prophets of Jerusalem, a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen the hand of evildoers, that none return from his wickedness. They are all unto me as inhabitants thereof of Sodom. So we're going to go back to that. Let's go to Matthew 23 real quick, because the Yahushua is saying the same thing, right? That's why the importance of the witness's testimony, the gospel, man. It says, yep, because this is the same thing, because even Jeremiah is pretty much saying in the same, the Pharisees of that time, or the prophets, the wicked prophets of that time, or the Pharisees of that time, or the wicked judges, rulers, whatever. He's saying the same thing that Yahushua is about to say, man, because they closing up the kingdom on people, man. Because this too, it's like this, right? Because like, shout out to Brother Semi Firstborn, because he said this many times too. It's like that people that don't want to, people say they project it, because what it is too, because he's like, he goes into like prison, stuff like that, because a lot of times too, the other inmates in there, especially if they've been in there for life, they want to start fights, because that's where that envy comes in. Like, nothing can stand before envy, because they don't want to see you get out. So that's why they do anything, because they gonna be in there forever. So they want you to be in there. It's the classic misery loves company, that type of thing, man. So that's not even in that. Just any aspect of life, man. That aspect happens, man. But you know, yeah, man, that's is what it is, man. Because they don't want you to get the kingdom, or the inward kingdom, or physical kingdom, man. That's why. But let's grab this Matthew chapter 23, verse 13. It says, "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer them that entering to go in." Verse 14. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, unfaithful, it's one, and also two, this natural hypocrites as well. For ye devour widow houses, for make pretense, for a pretense make long prayers, and therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Yeah, that's what John the Baptist said. Like, why y'all, you vipers, here before the time, like for the destruction to come? Because y'all judgment is signed, sealed, and delivered, man. Because y'all never going to change. That's what Paul goes into, like in Timothy, talking about the rod is concealed with a rod of iron. The conscience is with a rod of iron. Pretty much, they're convinced, they're stuck in their ways, they're not going to change. That's why, like, even in the last book of the scriptures, man, Revelation, let the unjust be unjust, man. Well, let the filthy be filthy. But it says, verse 15, it says, "But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye can pass the sea and land to make one proselyte. When he is made, ye make him twofold more than a child of hell than yourself." So you see exactly. So let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 14. It says, "I have also seen the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery, walk in lies, and they strengthen the hand of also evildoers, that none return from his wickedness. And they are all unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants of thereof as Gomorrah." So see that? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 35 real quick, man, because this is what the Most High about say, depart from wickedness, man. And that's what Yahushua became. See, that's where it goes into. They don't want, a lot of times too, they don't want, like, the gospel, witness, testimony, new covenant, or just the people to get right, people like that. They want to be like them, because, they like, because that's what, John 8:44. You are of your father, like, devil, man. Because that's what Satan does. Because Satan knows what time it is with him. But that's the similar of the misery loves company. Because Satan, since we mentioned prison early, pretty much Satan's that they do, like, Satan's that dude that he's going to be like, because a lot of people think that, like, that, and that's where that misconception of, like, of hell, like, not of hell itself, but that Satan has a realm in hell that he was running. No, the word don't say that. He said he gonna be in there with him. Satan's like that. He's that nigga that's in the in the cell, or like that's locked up, and all the people he snitch on is in the same thing, is in the same cell as him. That's Satan, pretty much, man. He's pretty much trying to take as many people with him down, honestly. So that's is what it is, man. So it says, Ecclesiastes, also known chapter 35, verse 3. It says, "To depart from wickedness is a thing pleasing to the Lord, and to forsake unrighteousness is a propitiation." Yeah, exactly. And that's what then doesn't the word say? I'm forgetting what scriptures it says, that Yahushua came to make propitiation. If I'm pronouncing that right, for the people, that ones that believe on him. But those people like that, the serpent don't want that, man. That's why they are the father of the devil. So yeah, man, it's all the same thing, man. But yeah, man. So let's read to Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 14. It says, "I have seen also the prophets of Jerusalem commit Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and walk in lies. They strengthen the hand of evildoers, that none return from his wickedness. They are all unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof of Gomorrah." So exactly, man. So yeah, let's just go to Ezekiel 16 and close out, man. So that's why Jeremiah was like, they thought, like, one of the reasons why they thought Yahushua was Jeremiah, or one of the prophets, because that's what Jeremiah would do. He was going to the kings and those the false teachers, like, directly, like, and yeah, let's go Ezekiel chapter 16 verse 49. It says, um, uh, it says, "Behold, the iniquity of the sister Sodom, pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness." Yep, and was her was her, was her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. So yeah, it was pretty much doing similar to what the Pharisees stuff like doing, what the people of Jeremiah at the time was doing, all throughout history, what they was doing, like unjust iniquity, unjust dealing, unjust judgment, like not against the poor and needy, oppressing the poor and needy, not only poor, just natural poor, but the faithful, what they were doing, man. So yeah, man, that's just is what it is. Because how should I say, poor this world, we're rich in faith. I mean, James said that, but same type of deal. But yeah, man, that's is what it is, man. Like it says idle, like and no idle, like even in the word, I mean in the world, and even in that, there's a quote that say the idle idle mind is the devil's playground, man. But that's even in the roundabout way in the world, which in the word we about to get into, man, because idle can lead a lot of wickedness, man. Like let's get to second edges real quick, man. Let's grab this real quick. Because that was going on. That's why it says, "Have not servants be idle." But that's why we about against this, man. Like let's get let's hit a second edges real quick. Yeah. Let's see. Where's it at? Hold on, y'all. But actually, here it is. It says Ecclesiastes, also known as Sirach chapter 33, verse Dang, I had bookmark right here. Verse 27, Sirach 33 and 27. Send him to labor. Send him to labor that he be not idle. For idleness teaches much evil. So exactly. So see, that's where that saying comes from. Like idle minds, devil's playground. Like but also too, this not only the devil. Devil isn't just Satan, and honestly, this like anything that's adverse against the Most High house, but even both, but honestly, but yeah, man. But see, didn't it say that in idleness, like what we just read in Ezekiel with Sodom and Gomorrah, exactly, man. Like idleness brings evil. So let's go to 2 Ezra 16 and 68. Yeah, my bad. I had trouble finding it. Yeah, it says that's why yeah, exactly. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take you. Is this it? I don't know if that's it. Oh my gosh, where is it at? Okay, it's something. It was something here. I don't know. Was that it? Oh yeah, here it is. See, it is 1668. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away the certain of you that and feed you, being idle. Yep, who offer unto things idle." So see, he says that idleness brings and that idleness is what goes back to sometimes like being could be slothful, but also too that also going to want to be entertained all the time. Honestly, too, that's why that goes back to that pleasure. Don't take too much pleasure, good cheer. Honestly, that's what that's kind of going into as well. Because like my pop used to tell me, growing up, he said, "Man, son, you always have to be entertained all the time, man." Because that's what it is too. That's why. That's why I know honestly. That's why hence the Most High House akins us to women and children, man, because that's the spirit that most majority of them have. Not all of them, but majority of them have. I just want to have fun all the time because women had that. That's what Cyndi Lauper, didn't she have a song back in the day? What was it in the 80s called "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" too? That's why everybody in this it's being pushed on especially this side of in the Western world, in this east side of Esau's kingdom, or just fun, having a good time, just did that, and just children want to do the same thing, man. Honestly, but don't realize that could be for your destruction, man. Because that's why the most on your house, I said, listen to time and season, honestly, with things, man. Because yeah, man, it all ties in together, man. But yeah, man, hopefully this is edifying, man. So yeah, peace.